Hello YouTube, this is Archer Investing. If you follow my YouTube channel, you would know that I reached my 100K goal. My goal was to reach 100K by the end of this year. Luckily, I reached it by the end of April, early May. It's a pretty big accomplishment for me. I'm very proud. Didn't think I'll reach it this soon, but now I got to think about the next goal. So I think for this year, my next goal is to try to reach 150K. The reason why I picked 150K is because it's still pretty ambitious. You know, I'm still a little bit over 40K out, but it is possible. And then another reason is because of tax purposes. I live in one of the most expensive states in America, so a good chunk of money does have to come out of this portfolio just for tax purposes. And being at 150K, I do think that I'll still be over the 100K limit. So that's kind of my thought process behind my next goal. It is a little bit ambitious, but not too ambitious. And then once taxes hit, my portfolio won't go under the 100K, hopefully. But looking a little bit further to the future, you know, I do want my portfolio to be around 250K by end of 2028. That's still a pretty ambitious goal, but if I just continue investing, trying to stay disciplined, you know, emotions get high at times during investing. I do think I can reach it. And I do think what helps is that I'm not really a high spender in my personal life. I always like to find ways to save money. I don't really live luxurious. You know, I still drive the same 2007 car I have. It's still well maintenance. You know, I could definitely go buy another car, but I just choose not to. And I always find ways to like save money. For example, so last year, we went to Japan, and our flight was like very cheap because we found like the cheapest flight. We did our research and everything. And then a lot of our hotels were pretty cheap as well. And not only that, but we used our points to pay for a lot of the stuff. So we ended up saving a lot of money. I would say like over $1,000 for sure, because we found ways to maximize our points, you know, did the research and find cheap flights and everything like that. And that is something that I'm pretty interested about as well. I am thinking about it would have to be another YouTube channel, because the format of like this vertical, you know, recording, it's not going to work for this type of video that I'm thinking about. But I'm thinking about making a YouTube channel about talking about finding ways to maximize your credit cards in terms of points. And then obviously like also looking into what credit cards fit what people, you know. Just to give a quick example, like the Amex Platinum is good for if you're a constant person that flies, you know, because you have your 5 times points on flights. You have your Amex Lounge. You could go somewhere to go chill out and everything like that. Versus the Amex Gold, I think it got a recent update, and I need to look into that. But, you know, it's more good for like dining or buying groceries. You get 4 times points, you know. And then I also have like another credit card that's good for gas. Gives me, I think it's like 3% cash back to 5% cash back, you know. So that is something that I am thinking about. It does really help with saving money and helping you put more money into your investments. But it's not for everyone, you know. If you can't pay off your credit cards, I highly don't recommend it. It's just one of those things where you have to be disciplined and constantly being on top of it. But yeah, that's just something I'm thinking about. Let me know what you guys think. I like watching those type of videos. I don't know if you guys do as well. But anyways, just want to talk about that real quick and then get back to the portfolio right here. So portfolio is currently sitting at $109,000. Looks like we're in the downtrend, so I'll probably be around 108 in a little bit. 1 week out, I'm up 22% for a total of $20,000. 1 month out, I'm up 45% for a total of almost $34,000. 3 months out, I'm up almost 43% for a total of $32,500. Year to date, I'm up 41% for a total of almost $32,000. And then 1 year out, I am up 118% for a total of $59,000. Now, this looks like it's pretty high, but realistically, it's not, just because around late April, early May was the bottom for my portfolio last year. That's why it looks like a lot, but it's not really. And then all time, I am up 58.67% for a total of $40,000. And then just I'd like to reiterate that I wasn't really investing during this time period. I think I just had money sitting there. But yeah, buying power is sitting at $8,000, but only 372 of this is cash. The rest is margin, but I'm currently not using any margin right now. Yeah, no margins being used, so I'm not paying any margin, which is great. MSTR did a little bit of an oopsie here. I rolled it up, but I forgot to roll it out. Wasn't really paying attention. It was pretty early in the morning when I did this, I believe. And then, yeah, played myself right here. But anyways, that's okay. It wasn't too expensive. I'm currently up $330 in this position. MSTR is in the downtrend because of earnings. It kind of had mixed settlement earnings. They did increase revenue, but there was a lot of downside as well. SoFi, 15.5 put right here. I did this trade today. 2 contracts. I got a total of, where's my average credit? Average credit $45. So that's what, $90 for this trade right here. And then if you notice here, all of my sell calls and sell puts expire the same date, May 22nd. And part of the reason for this is because I do want to make a video once hopefully all of these expire worthless, talking about like potentially how much you can make, with like this amount of portfolio if you have this amount, and then like kind of going off of like, if you're more aggressive, you could probably make this. If you're more conservative, you could probably make this. Nothing's guaranteed, of course, but it's just kind of a thing that I'm thinking about doing, and that's why I have everything here besides like the longer positions, like the Irene 40 put right here, the 8 calls, the 8 puts. That one was just on margin, so that's doing its own thing. But anyways, Robinhood, I have a $82 call right here, still down in this position. I'm actually happy for this one to go up just because I just wanted to do a quick swing trade on this position, and then hopefully it gets called. Coinbase, 175 put. I am currently up $167 in this position. That's like a little bit over 25%, I believe. I was thinking about taking profit yesterday just because Coinbase did reach around like the $204 mark, but decided not to just because once I sell another put, I'll probably have to sell like a 180, 185, and didn't really want to do that at the moment. Irene, $51 call. This one has been running a lot. Right now it's currently at $54.56. I am down $506. What will probably happen is I might have to roll this out, but I don't want to because I do want to make that video, to give that example. So I might just let it get called away, but we'll see. Then I have Irene, 8 contracts, $40 puts. These expire December 18th. I'm currently up 23% for a total of $1,856. I'm going to let this expire worthless or just get really, really close to the expiration date and then buy it back. SoFi, $15 calls, 2 contracts, down 16% for a total of $154 in the negative. SoFi, $20 calls. These expire June 17, 2027. So there's still some about over a year left. Down 34.45% for a total of $854 in the negative. SoFi, I had them in SoFi. My Visa calls that I sold were worse, so it doesn't really faze me too much. And then I have SoFi, $13 calls right here. These expire December 17, 2027. I saw SoFi go around $16. I was like, you know what? I'll probably buy some more leaps on this position, see how it plays out. I'm not going to hold it in towards expiration. But I am hoping for like SoFi to go to what, $22, $23. Start selling off my leaps right then and there, and then letting my stock just ride. So speaking of stocks and ETFs, not much of an update on SPY, QQQ, or JEPIQ or JEPI. I would say I do have a dividend coming in for JEPIQ of $3.55. That's pretty nice. And then JEPI, I have what I think was like, 73 cents coming in. Something light right there. And then Coca-Cola, not really much of an update as well. Don't even have a share. I need to change that. And then SoFi, 1,000 shares of SoFi. SoFi is currently sitting at $16.04. I am down almost 5% in this position for negative $800. My average cost is $16.84. My plan is to just keep holding this position. And then once it reaches like the $18 mark, I'll start selling some calls, but it will be very conservative calls. For example, it will be like where the delta is at like 0.15 to like 0.2. So that's my plan right there. Visa, I'm very happy that I sold my leaps on Visa while I did, because I did sell at the top, which is pretty rare because I really don't sell at the top. I usually miss a couple of gains, but Visa's at 322 right now. It's been on the downtrend since earnings season. I'm still going to keep holding this position though, just going to keep buying daily. And I'm currently up almost 5% for a total of $400. And then maybe we dip some more. I'll probably buy like 3 shares, 2 shares, something like that. Which I actually did in the other positions, but we'll talk about that later. Amazon's been running up a lot. A little bit of a pullback today. But I think it reached like, what, 277? Yeah, 277. I have 16 shares right now. Average cost of $239.20. I'm up 13.71% for a total of $533.58. Going to keep holding that as well. Amex. So Amex has been in the downtrend as well a little bit. I think it reached 314, close to 315 earlier today. I did buy, I think I bought like 2 more shares, I believe, this today. Or was it 3? I don't remember. That dividend is still pending of $1.06. Next dividend definitely is going to be a lot higher just because I do have a lot more shares. But I'm currently down 0.5% for a total of $40. And this makes up about 7.5% of my portfolio. UNH has been kind of going up and down between like the 160s to 170s level. Still currently holding it. Only have 7.84 shares. Still daily buying to this position, as well as my Amex, Amazon, and Visa position. This only makes up 2.2% of my portfolio, so I need to get that higher. Almost up 25% for a total of 559.97. DRS, I added about 10 more shares to DRS today. I'm currently down a little bit over 2%. Not much of an update here. MSTR was going rampant over their overnight market. It was up to like 190, and then earnings came out and then just took a dump. But even before earnings, it started going the downtrend. So I'm currently still up in this position, around 23.72%, about $7,000, $7,000 to $8,000 range right now. That's where it keeps fluctuating. And then it looks like we're going back to the downtrend, so I'll see it going to maybe like a $6,000, $5,000 total return, but gonna continue to hold it. My average cost is $147.54. I have 200 shares. I'm not gonna be adding to this position. Just gonna let this bad boy ride out. Once it recovers back to the 250 range, I will start maybe considering selling, but we'll see how that goes. Microsoft, I think about like 2 shares of Microsoft today. Currently have 20 shares, average cost of $395.93. This is about 6.41% of my portfolio. And I'm currently up 3% for a total of $244.59. And then quick thing about MSTR, this is my biggest position at 28%. Irene, talked about this earlier a little bit, but yeah, Irene's up 10% today. I have 100 shares. I have an average cost of $41 flat. I am up 33.29% for a total of $1,365. But realistically, this number is not correct. I'm only up $1,000 because I am selling a call against this position at 51. But we'll see if I roll it or not. I got Netflix right here. I think I bought 15 more shares of Netflix. Brought my average cost down to $91.64. I am currently down 4.48% for a total of $123.08 on the negative. Saw the dip, bought the dip. Robinhood, kind of an uptrend today, not really. But I have 100 shares. I have a call against this position. Average cost is $75.57. I'm only up about 2% in this position. And if this gets called away, I'll make about, $600 plus. So hopefully it does. And then Meta, about 3 more shares of Meta on this. I saw this pullback right here. I think about a 601, don't remember. But this makes up about 6% of my portfolio. Average cost of $609.88. 13 shares, currently down almost 2%. Still going to keep holding this. I am going to swing trade it. But, we'll see how it goes. Maybe Meta just continues to go on the downtrend this whole year and I just keep it. And that's okay, If I hold it for more than a year and it helps me out with taxes, I'll pay less in taxes. So, there's always a benefit of something. But yeah, that's kind of my portfolio right there. The goal of this portfolio is to pretty much retire. Retire, I'm trying to escape that working until 65 and then, live off a retirement type of thing. It is a good idea, but personally for me, I think that by that time I'm going to be old. I want to live my life the best I can while I'm still young and, at least take a risk and, trying to, do stuff, I guess you could say, with this portfolio, trying to retire early and everything like that. I think it's better to take a risk than to not take a risk, because then if you don't take a risk, you leave yourself questioning, the what if. And I don't want to ever question that, So that's kind of another big reason behind this portfolio. It's kind of random, I know, but, just something I wanted to talk about. Roth IRA, I almost forgot about that. So Roth IRA, looks like the money finally hit. And then I decided to because it's not really much of an update on my stocks, because I just gave one pretty recently for this. But I did buy 11 contracts for SoFi for $15 that expire December 17, 2027. It is an aggressive play, I know, but we'll see how this plays out. Just wanted to give it a shot to see how it goes. But that's just a quick little update for my Roth IRA. But yeah, anyways, if you like these type of videos, please like and subscribe. I think this is probably one of my longer videos, But anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.